of the cues are theater specific or are projector specific. Um, so we're gonna send this SPL of Citizen Kane to theater one. We want a good crowd. So I'm going to choose one screen. I'm choosing screen one. I'm going to deselect all. Pretty much the first thing with everything
Is
is always select all.
Yeah.
So we want these ads to be a little quieter. A good rule of thumb for screens 1, 2, and 3 is ads sound just fine at fader 5.5.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to select it. I'm going to hit OK. Now it takes us to this screen. Now you'll see some options here. Before clips start we used to mess around with that. It's not particularly useful anymore. I don't even know what from clip end means. I've never messed with that. We want to do everything from clip start, right in the middle there. So you select it. So it is showing us, it says please key in time code, max. So our hours are blank, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Because we are looking to add a cue just to this one CPL, the server knows that CPL is only 2 minutes and 30 seconds long. And we want the cue to activate or to start right at the beginning of the clip. Like, it doesn't do any good for the preview to start at 7.0 and then halfway through the preview, then it drops down to 5.5. That would be nonsensical. We want this cue to start at the very beginning of the clip. So I'm just going to literally click once. So that is literally one frame. So the very first frame of that CPL, the projector is going to read that cue and it is going to adjust the sound automatically for us. So I've selected from clip start. I want it from the very first frame. So all that looks good. I want it to be 5.5 on the sound cue or for the fader, and I'm just going to hit add. So that's kind of the final step. You can do all of this other stuff and then hit OK, and none of it'll work. You have to click that add cue button, and then it pops up in this middle field here. And so we know that it's so now you can hit OK. And if you look, there was no triangle before. Now it's there, and if you hover over it, it tells us exactly what it is. It's a fader, 5.5, that starts on frame 1. So now we've told the sound rack to adjust itself to 5.5. Now if we don't do anything else, then from that point on, everything's going to play at 5.5, which that's fine for ads and previews. We want the movie to be a little bit louder, though. Audiences expect movies to be a little bit louder. This is where just a little bit of time and experience is going to come into play. The majority of newer mainstream movies we play at 6.5, except for in Theater 5, which we'll get to. Theater 5 is its own special little beast. But for projectors 1 through 4, your normal run-of-the-mill mainstream movie can play at 6.5. So same thing as before, we're going to right-click, we're going to add cue, we're in screen 1, we're going to deselect all. We want to create a new cue. You'll see here, it could go up to 7. but it could be a little loud. 6.5 is fine for most things. So we're going to select 6.5. Okay. Takes us to this, which might look familiar. From clip start, from frame 1, so we want it to just hit at the very beginning. We're going to make sure that we click Add Cue. It pops up in this middle field here. Looks good. Okay. And now we have a sound cue. So when it hits 5.5, we've got 1 ad, 2 ads, and this landmark logo. All of that's going to play at 5.5 until it hits this cue that we just added, and it's going to go from 5.5 is going to crank up to 6.5 just in time for the movie.
If you don't add that secondary cue, it will stay at 5.5 because that's what
we set it to.
Previous cue was. Great.
Which is maybe not end of the world. Maybe that's fine. You know, I mean, we used to do on certain weekdays. We would do matinee, like the mommy matinees.
Easy listening thing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I
And,
thought, would that be something that we do manually on the sound tower?
For the mommy matinees.
Yeah.
In that instance, we did it. In that instance, I just put cues.
Got it.
I just made so instead of having 5.5 on the trailers, I think I played the trailers at like 4.5, and then when it got to the actual movie, I only bumped the movie up to like 5.0. And you know, if someone complained, you could still manually adjust, but I mean, you can make the sound cues for whatever you want, and particularly, and this is where the time and experience comes into play. You'll learn, you know, like old black and white Hollywood movies, you know, they're old. They weren't made in, you know, Dolby Digital Surround. So maybe Citizen Kane, you want to play at 7.0. Certain subtitled films, you know, you've got a French movie that's literally just people sitting around having philosophical conversations, you know, and there's no special effects, there's no loud sound effects, nothing like that. So maybe you want to play that at 7.0, just to, you know, make it a little bit more robust. Avatar, I was playing at 6.0, which is a little quieter than what we normally do, but it's so loud it's mixed so loudly that even at 6.5, some people were like, "Oh my God, that's so loud!" And then as soon as I started making cues for 6.0, never heard another complaint. So that's just kind of like trial and error kind of deal. So we messed around with this. We could either save this SPL, or anything you save, remember, during this part of the process, the only thing you can do is save it to the theater store, aka the server. You have to save it to the server first, okay, or just click OK. And then we go back into manage. So away from create, back to manage. We go to SPLs, and then here is the SPL that we just created. And then this is where you can right click, and then you have to send it to the projector that you want it to go to. That's also why I put what auditorium it's playing in the actual name of the SPL.
Great.
You guys can do whatever, you guys can name it whatever you want. When I started here, the GM did all the projection himself, and purely to amuse himself, he made all the file names like little, like kind of like haikus. It was
about the movie or just random haiku?
just kind of like going off of words in the title. so you
really
could
funny.
still manage to make out what the name of the movie was. But he spent a lot of time on it, and if you just came blindly into the booth and are trying to figure out, something's wrong in theater one. Well, what's playing in theater one? And you come click on your SPLs, and it's,
Sunday
some
Sandy,
some rhyming couplet, and it's like, well, what the hell? Like, what even auditorium is this
That's
playing? What
amazing.
movie? And you got to think about. So it's just the first day of the play week, name of the movie, what auditorium it's playing in. That has worked for me. Of course, you guys are free to do whatever you please.
That is unbelievable.
All right, everything's